Imagine a dessert so divine it titillates your taste buds, a luscious blend of creamy cheesecake and rich red velvet cake. Picture the vibrant red hue of the velvet cake, perfectly complemented by the creamy white of the cheesecake. Envision biting into the soft, velvety texture, the cream cheese frosting melting in your mouth. The flavors burst, a delightful dance of sweet, tangy, and slightly bitter cocoa notes. It's not just a dessert, it's an experience. A slice of this heavenly cheesecake is like a symphony of flavors in your mouth. To create this masterpiece, gather some basic ingredients. First, let's focus on the red velvet base. You'll need 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1.5 cups of granulated sugar, a tablespoon of unsweetened cocoa powder, a half teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. We can't forget the signature red color, so add in 2 tablespoons of red food coloring. And for the moist, fluffy texture, we need 2 large eggs, a cup of buttermilk, a half cup of vegetable oil, a teaspoon of white vinegar, and a teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. Now let's move on to the luscious cheesecake layer. For this, you'll require 2 pounds of cream cheese, a cup of granulated sugar, a dash of salt, 2 teaspoons of pure vanilla extract, and 4 large eggs. And to give it that extra creamy texture, half a cup of sour cream and a 1/3 cup of heavy cream will do the trick. With these ingredients in hand, you're ready to embark on a culinary adventure. Creating this red velvet cheesecake involves 2 main steps. First, let's craft the red velvet base. Stir together some flour, cocoa powder, and salt, then set aside. In another bowl, mix butter and sugar until it's smooth and fluffy. Add in eggs 1 at a time, then pour in some vanilla extract and red food coloring. Gradually blend in the dry ingredients you set aside earlier, and voila, your red velvet base is ready. Now let's move on to the cheesecake layer. It's as simple as beating cream cheese until it's smooth, then adding in sugar, and finally beaten eggs. Stir until it's well combined, and then pour this mixture over your pre-baked red velvet base. Next, it's time for baking. Preheat your oven to 325 degrees Fahrenheit and bake for about 40 to 45 minutes. You'll know it's done when the center is set and the edges begin to lightly brown. But remember, baking time may vary depending on your oven. Once baked, remove it gently from the oven and let it cool at room temperature. After it's cooled, refrigerate for at least 4 hours, allowing the flavors to meld together beautifully. And there you have it. After a few hours of patience, your red velvet cheesecake is ready to be devoured. Creating the red velvet cheesecake might seem like an art, but it's quite simple. We started with the red velvet base, combining cocoa and red food coloring to create that iconic hue. On top, we layered a smooth and creamy cheesecake mixture, blending cream cheese, sugar, and a hint of vanilla. After a moment in the oven, the 2 layers meld into a dessert that's both visually stunning and delicious. And there you have it, a luscious red velvet cheesecake, a dessert that's sure to impress.